There comes a point in your life when God stops you in your tracks and whispers, "Do not look for a job, look for your calling." Too many people are chasing positions, chasing salaries, chasing titles, yet living empty inside. Because what you're really searching for isn't employment, it's purpose. A job can give you money, but only a calling can give you meaning. A job can fill your pockets, but a calling fills your spirit. A job may last for a season, but your calling lasts for a lifetime. When God says, "Do not look for a job," He is not asking you to sit still or abandon responsibility. He is asking you to shift your entire mindset. He is asking you to stop looking at life through the lens of survival and start looking at it through the lens of assignment. Because too many people wake up every morning simply trying to make money, but very few wake up trying to fulfill their purpose. Employment keeps you busy, but purpose keeps you aligned. A job can fill your schedule, but only purpose can fill your soul. You can work 40 hours a week and still feel empty because you're giving your energy to something you were never created for. God didn't design you just to work for someone else's vision. He designed you to manifest the calling He placed inside of you. The world teaches you to chase stability, security, and comfort. But God teaches you to chase meaning, growth, and divine direction. There is a difference between doing work and doing what you were born to do. When you pursue purpose, you operate from strength, not stress. You operate from passion, not pressure. You operate from calling, not compromise. Purpose is the reason your heart beats faster when you think about certain dreams. Purpose is the reason you feel restless when you're living beneath your potential. Purpose is the reason certain ideas keep coming back to you, refusing to leave you alone. They are not random thoughts, they are divine reminders. God wants you to pursue purpose because that is where your gifts come alive. That is where your creativity awakens. That is where your spiritual power activates. Purpose unlocks a version of you that a job could never reveal. When you follow purpose, you're no longer just working. You're serving, creating, impacting, and transforming. You're stepping into the blueprint God designed long before you were born. And the truth is, you will never feel fully satisfied, fully fulfilled, or fully alive until you align with that purpose. You can succeed in a job and still fail in your calling. You can earn money and still lose yourself. But when you seek purpose first, everything else, resources, opportunities, connections, begins to fall into place. Because God supports what He created you to do. A job is something you do for a season, but your calling is something you carry for life. Jobs have start dates and end dates, promotions and retirements, contracts and conditions, but your calling is woven into your identity. It is part of your spiritual DNA. It doesn't expire, it doesn't disappear, and it doesn't depend on any company or person to approve it. A job can be taken away from you by circumstances, but your calling cannot be taken away because it comes from God. The world can fire you, but it cannot strip you of what heaven placed inside you. Titles may change, positions may shift, opportunities may fade, but your purpose remains permanent. Even when life transitions you, even when you move from one season to another, your calling follows you like a shadow, because it is who you are, not what you do. Many people get discouraged when they lose a job or don't get hired, but they forget something important. A job is just a platform. It's not your identity. It's one vehicle, not the destination. God may close a job because you outgrew that environment. He may block a job because it doesn't align with your assignment. He may shift your career path because He is preparing you for a level a job could never take you to. Your calling is bigger than employment. It shows up in everything you do, in the way you speak, the way you think, the way you inspire others, the way you solve problems. You don't turn off your calling when you leave work. It stays with you. It's the reason people come to you for guidance. It's the reason opportunities appear out of nowhere. It's the reason you feel a pull towards something deeper, something more meaningful, something that feels like purpose. Your calling is what God placed inside you before you were even born. It existed before any job you ever applied for. It will continue to exist long after any job ends. The world uses jobs to measure your success, but God uses your calling to measure your impact. And impact lasts far longer than any career title. This is why some people feel empty even when they have good jobs. They are working, but not walking in their calling. They are earning, but not evolving. They are surviving, but not fulfilling their divine purpose. Because a job feeds your lifestyle, but your calling feeds your soul. And when you begin to understand that your calling is eternal, you stop panicking over temporary losses. You stop fearing closed doors. You stop chasing positions that are beneath your purpose. You start realizing that your real mission is not to hold a job. It is to fulfill an assignment. From the moment you were born, the world began trying to shape you, label you, categorize you, and limit you. Society teaches you to conform, to follow the path that everyone else follows, to stay inside the lines, and to never question the normal way of doing things. But God did not create you to fit inside anyone's expectations. He created you to stand out, to rise above, and to walk a path uniquely yours. The world wants you to think small. God wants you to think purpose. The world says, find a safe job. God says, step into your assignment. The world says, don't dream too big. God says, I placed those dreams inside you for a reason. The most people spend their lives squeezing themselves into roles that don't match who they truly are. They shrink their personality, hide their gifts, silence their voice, and dim their light just to be accepted. They settle for less because standing out feels uncomfortable. But every time you try to fit into the world's boxes, you lose a part of yourself. You weren't created to fit in. You were created to transform. You weren't designed to blend in. You were designed to elevate. You weren't born to mimic. You were born to lead. God gave you talents, perspective, creativity, and an inner fire that cannot be contained by the structures society builds. You are not meant to follow the crowd. You are meant to shift the culture. There is something about you that makes you different, and that difference is not a flaw. It is your assignment. When God calls you, He doesn't ask you to be like everyone else. He calls you to be the version of yourself He designed. He calls you to operate beyond rules, beyond limitations, beyond the expectations that people place upon you. Because people see who you are right now, but God sees who you were destined to become. And when you try to fit into the world's boxes, you limit God's ability to work through you. You settle for environments that cannot handle your gift. You stay in places that do not match your potential. You attach yourself to systems that were never meant to shape your destiny. Your calling is too big for a box. Your spirit is too strong for a cage. Your destiny is too powerful to be controlled by society's script. This is why you feel uncomfortable when you force yourself into roles you've outgrown. This is why certain jobs don't feel right, even if they look stable. This is why you feel restless when you know you are capable of more. That discomfort is divine. It is God telling you that the world's boxes are too small for the greatness inside you. God never sends you into the world empty. He equips every person with a unique set of gifts, abilities, strengths, passions, and insights that are not randomly placed inside you. They are intentional. They are purposeful. They are divine signals pointing you toward the path you were meant to walk. Your gifts are not accidents. They are instructions. Some people ignore their gifts because they think they are too small. Others suppress them because they fear judgment. Many bury them because they were taught to chase what is practical instead of what is purposeful. But what you call just something I'm good at might be the exact doorway into your destiny. If God gave you the talent to speak, it means someone needs your voice. If He put creativity in you, it means the world is waiting for what only you can create. If He placed compassion in your heart, it means you are meant to heal, guide, or uplift others. If He made you a problem solver, it means you are meant to lead solutions, not follow instructions. Your gifts are not random. They are revelations. Every time you feel joy while using a certain talent, that's God affirming your direction. Every time people come to you for something specific, that's God highlighting what He planted in you. Every time you feel alive doing something, that's God telling you, this is who you are. This is where you belong. But many people overlook their gifts because they compare themselves to others. They think their gift must be huge, dramatic, or flashy to matter. They believe their talent is insignificant because it doesn't look like someone else's. But God does not waste gifts. What seems ordinary to you might be extraordinary to someone else. Your assignment is always tied to what you naturally do well. Your calling is hidden inside what you cannot stop thinking about. Your purpose is connected to the skills you developed without even trying. And here is the truth. God will never call you to something without giving you the tools to succeed. Your gifts are those tools. They are not just for you. They are meant to impact others. That's why ignoring your gifts feels like something inside you is being suffocated. You were not created to hide what God placed within you. Your gifts are a map. Your passion is the compass. Your purpose is the destination. The more you use your gifts, the clearer your assignment becomes. The more you honor your talents, the more doors open. The more you step into your natural strengths, the more alignment you feel, because God guides you through what He put inside you long before the world ever saw your potential. We often think rejection means we are not good enough. We think a closed door means we failed. But in reality, many of the doors that shut in your face were never meant to open. God closes doors not to punish you, but to protect you. Not to limit you, but to lift you. Not to restrict you, but to redirect you towards something that matches your destiny. Sometimes you pray for opportunities that are far too small for the magnitude of who you are becoming. You ask God to let you into rooms that cannot contain your purpose. You try to force your way into environments that would shrink your spirit and silence your gifts. But God sees the future you cannot see. He sees the trap, the limitation, the stagnation, the heartbreak, the wasted years. And He shuts the door before you walk into something that would have damaged your calling. Closed doors are divine protection. If only you could see what God saved you from, you would stop crying over what you lost. If only you knew how many people, places, and positions were beneath the potential He placed inside you, you would stop chasing things He blocked. God doesn't stop you from entering a room unless He has a better one prepared. He doesn't let you settle, because settling would suffocate your destiny. Some of the jobs you didn't get would have drained your gift. Some of the opportunities you missed would have distracted you. Some of the places you wanted to work in would have kept you small. Some of the people you wanted to impress were never meant to be part of your story. God sees your ability, your greatness, your growth, and your promise. He knows exactly what you are capable of, even when you don't. And He will not allow you to stay in spaces that cannot match the level He is calling you to. That is why He closes doors with force. That is why connections fall apart suddenly. That is why certain plans fail no matter how hard you try. It's not rejection, it's redirection. It's not failure, it's elevation. It's not loss, it's alignment. Every closed door is a message. You are made for more than this. More than that job, more than that position, more than that environment, more than that limited vision. God is not trying to take something from you. He is trying to take you somewhere higher. And the moment you stop fighting the doors He shuts, you will finally begin to see the path He opens. Because every barrier is a sign that you've outgrown the level you're trying to remain in. Every no is a reminder that God sees you operating on a level you haven't reached yet. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is believing that their job is their source of income, their source of stability, their source of security. But God wants you to understand that a job is only a channel. It is not the provider. It is not the source. It is simply one of the many ways God delivers provision into your life. Your boss is not your provider. Your paycheck is not your foundation. Your employer does not control your destiny. When you begin to see the difference between the channel and the source, your entire mindset shifts. You stop fearing loss. You stop panicking over uncertainty. You stop thinking your life is over when one door closes. Because you realize that the same God who provided through one channel can provide through another, and another, and another. Provision does not depend on your job, your qualifications, your real assume, or your connections. Provision depends on God's will, God's timing, and God's purpose for your life. That's why some people work tirelessly and still feel stuck, while others experience blessings from unexpected places. God is not limited by your employment status. He is not dependent on human systems. He is the creator of all resources, and He can supply what you need in ways you could never imagine. God can bless you through a job, but He can also bless you through people, ideas, opportunities, creativity, business, favor, and divine connections. You are not tied to one stream when you belong to the God who owns the entire ocean. Many people cling to jobs they hate because they fear losing income. They think, if I leave this, how will I survive? But they don't realize that fear disconnects them from faith. And faith is the key to accessing divine provision. When you believe your job is your everything, you limit what God can do in your life. You settle for less because you assume there is no alternative. But God's supply chain is unlimited. When God wants to elevate you, He often disrupts your comfort. When He wants to move you higher, He dries up the place you're in. When He wants you to walk in purpose, He removes the illusion of dependency. There will be moments where God allows certain things to end, not to punish you, but to show you that He is the one sustaining you. He wants you to know that even if the paycheck stops, your provision won't. Even if the job ends, your purpose doesn't. Even if the channel closes, the source remains. When you trust that God, not the job, is your provider, you stop living in fear. You stop worshiping security. You stop depending on human approval. You begin to walk boldly, confidently, and faithfully, knowing that your Father in heaven has already prepared everything you need. And that is why God sometimes tells you not to look for a job, because He wants to break your dependence on systems and shift your trust back to Him. He wants you to realize that every blessing, every open door, every opportunity, every resource you will ever need flows from Him